So here we're talking about the application and cost of taxation. And we actually introduced taxation in previous chapter where we talked about the tax wedge. Remember that? We put it in there and we just drew the wedge in there. We're gonna keep down that road. And for later consumption here, I want to make sure it lines up well. Price of equilibrium, quantity of equilibrium. Remember when that was hard? No, it's not, right? This is where you start. And let's say we put a tax on sellers. It's not going to make them want to produce more, make them want to produce less. Less quantity, higher price. We know that's how the market's going to react when things get more expensive. When you tax something, things get more expensive. People want less of it. That introduces the tax wedge. Okay? That tax wedge creates a price that buyers pay at checkout, the market price, and then the price that sellers get. Okay. From there, you've got tax revenue. This is all stuff we covered. All right. Conversely, let's put a tax on buyers. Really slow down. Oh, you're in micro. You're in micro. Stay for the BA. You can take intermediate macro and intermediate micro with me. I think you've had fun in here. This is the warm-up line, homie. All right. You got more time on TikTok than you've got with my graphs. You missed the point entirely. You could be a moron. Earning welfare. No, TikTok. This is how you transform yourself. But I did slow down a little bit because I don't know if I drew that last graph really quickly. Benjamin House wants me to run another 50 miles for him. Should I do it?
Yes.
Huh? Jeez. It's not easy.
Is it 50?
50.
The other day,
48 hours. It's a 4x4x48, and I tack in an extra 2. Every 4 hours, you run 4 miles. So you'd start Friday. You start Friday at 4 p.m. You run at 4. You run at 8. You run at midnight. You run at 4 a.m. You run at 8 a.m. You run at noon. You run at 4. You run at 8 p.m. You run at midnight. You run at 4 a.m. You run at 8 a.m. You run at noon, and I think you finish at 4 the Sunday. Then I tack in some extra mileage just to get to 50 because if you're at 48, why not? Last year we raised $6,000, but I also had to shave my head, so I'm not cool with that plan again. I'm just now getting my locks back.
What's the Benjamin House?
It is a charitable organization that helps orphans in Uganda, and most of them are entrepreneurs. You didn't know about it? I got a sponsor kid over there. I'm gonna send him the college for real. My man Shadrach. Stop by sometime. I'll show you. Yeah, we raised $6,000 last year, and every $5 we raised fed a family for a week. You do math. It's awesome. So yeah, I probably should do it. These needs. You wanna do it for me?
I think I'll pass. My knees are getting worse too.
Yeah, trust me, under orders. All right, we caught up now? Okay, tax on buyers. You're gonna demand less. P2. P2. Okay, it's actually gonna push price down. Why? Because if something's taxed, you don't want it. And if you don't want it, demand decrease. It's not gonna make you increase, right? It's gonna put downward pressure on price. You guys will have a homework coming up that says upward and downward pressure on price. Just do this and draw an arrow down. If it's down, it's downward. If it's up, it's upward. You got me? Okay. Quantity goes down, drawing that tax wedge. Guess what we got again? Okay. Same thing. Same thing. Got me? Now, we talked last week about consumer and producer surplus. Consumer surplus plus producer surplus equals total surplus, right? I think there's an exam question on that. Anybody taking the exam yet? Have y'all seen that one yet? It's on. Maybe you get that one wrong because you didn't read it right. I'm not sure.
I got it. I think so. I don't know.
Excellent. Remember. Hey, why do you draw so many of these? It's like you want us to get better at it. This brings us to where we were last week, correct? Okay. In this situation, no tax, total surplus equals consumer surplus plus producer surplus. Kind of miss the music. Most of macro, if I were in the classroom, there'd be music playing. Micro's a little harder, so I usually back off, and it's starting to mess with my psyche now. I kind of like a little beat behind it.
Like Kanye?
Yeah, a little bit. Basically, when we talk about banking system and macro, I want to play the music for bank account in the background continuously.
You gonna vote for Kanye?
Hmm?
You gonna vote for Kanye?
No. I'm not sure Kanye can spell Kanye. Okay. I vote for my boy Shadrach before I vote.
Who?
Shadrach, my sponsor kid. He's awesome. English is getting better. We're trading letters. It's awesome. Dude's gonna grow up to be like a badass. You watch. And like I'm gonna get in trouble, and he's gonna step in and save.
You should let him run the 50 miles.
Huh?
You should let him run.
Oh, he'd probably kick my ass.
Oh, I bet. Most of them, they can drill it.
All right. Let's do this. I'm gonna erase all this, all right? Because we're gonna start again. Okay? Send him a pair of Crocs for Christmas. He just walks around with them.
He doesn't wear them.
You used to be barefoot, didn't you? Damn, kid, you're gonna outgrow them before you put them on. Good kid, though. Good kid. It's my daughter's age. It kind of registers. You know what I mean? Like, nah. It's good age. Here's the key graph. This stuff I think you can figure out. But in our condensed timeline, this is where I want to camp. Figure 3 in your hymnal. Taxes and welfare. I don't mean like I got a check in the mail welfare. I mean your welfare. How does it make you feel? Remember, we found a good deal on something, you felt good. We felt powerful. We felt proud. We felt we were bad mother. Nobody. Still only you. I put that outtake on the ground, by the way. What can I say? You can follow me at Jonathan Nomics. For real. How do taxes make you feel? Like you buy something at the store, and that has one price, but then you go to the register, do you pay a higher or a lower price? Higher price, in general. Now, if you ever go to the register, you pay a lower price, you're like, all right. Yeah. You pay a higher price, how does that make you feel? A little cheated out, not great, right? Not a, let's go with two emojis. Smiley emoji or frowny emoji? Frowny emoji, okay? Companies, when they get taxed, how does it make them feel? Let's say you start your own business and you're highly successful and you get a big old tax bill. How does that make you feel? Smiley emoji or frowny emoji? Okay. You know what's behind that? Is your well-being, is your welfare. So let's talk about taxes. Talk about taxes, man. When they talk about the game, we're talking about taxes. And your welfare. Again, I don't mean like social welfare. I mean your well-being. Draw this joke big. Y'all see the one for next week, man. There you go. I won't be able to mess around next week. I want to draw it just like it appears in the textbook. Why would I want to be so careful to draw it just like it appears in the textbook? Take the may out. It will show up on the test. So I want to be sure I draw it just like figure 3 in your reading. You know, when I was a college student, just like you, I just kind of skated by in high school and never took a book home. Okay? Just didn't, for a while there, I didn't know you could. Okay? But I did okay. When I went to college, I had a lot of fun the first year and a half. And then I met this girl, and she wanted to go to med school, and I really wanted to be around her. And if I was going to hang out with her, I had to study. And when I found out I had to study, I was like, what is this thing? I opened it up. It was a book. Do you know they had the answers to the exam in here? It's wild. I wish I'd have known that a lot sooner. You should have seen my GPA when I met this chick that wanted to go to med school. Okay. That young lady worked really hard, and she formed a chrysalis around her. And when she hatched, she became my sugar mama. Look into it. Perhaps you can be your own sugar person.
You gotta go to Mexico.
Heck no, man. Sugar people don't go to Mexico. You went to Hawaii.
Oh. Bougie.
Huh? Bougie. Heck no. You get off the plane, the airport's like a screen porch. Everything looks like a daggone screensaver. It's ridiculous. Flew right into Maui. It's a little airport. They landed that big jet. So we went to LA to Maui. They landed that jet like a helicopter. It was like in between a mountain and an ocean. It was like, I don't know how they took it back off. Some like Mario Kart type stuff, you know, just I don't know. All right. We draw it just like the exam. I mean, on the test. in the book. Let me draw it just like it is in the book because, you know, exam, test, homework, bingo. What's that? It's one of my favorite things my son used to do when he was really little. It's got the tax wedge, right? My son used to say, ooh, what's that? So when you were taking the test, pretend like after every question I ask you, I say, ooh, what's that? And then I give you A, B, C, D, or true false. Or I might mix it up and put a fill in the blank in there real soon. Won't that be fun? Okay. P, price buyers. PS, price sellers. Price without a tax. This area right here, right-handed triangle looking thing here, right-hand, that would be area A. This rectangle right here would be area B. This triangle right here would be area C. This rectangle here would be area D. This area here will be E. And lastly, down here, this will be F. Speaking of F, if you do not work in here, you will receive an F, which is akin to being fired. Even fired starts with F. Okay? And just a friendly reminder, it always happens towards the end of the semester. Professor, I got this score. It's not a score, it's a letter. And it's reflecting upon your effort. Professor, can you curve my grade for me? Yes, I can. No sharp edges. I curve. Didn't I tell that joke in macro?
No.
Is that why it's not so funny?
Well, I heard that one.
You've heard that one?
Yeah.
It's really funny when like people's parents come up here and try to argue their grade. When they're done with their lap around the building for interfering in their child's life, even though they're not a child, you're a young adult at this point, right? Can you vote? Can you join the Marine Corps?
Actually, no. Yes.
Huh?
I said, actually, no, because I shot.
Do you have some sort of medical ailment we need to know about?
Not right now. But maybe. Maybe.
What age are you?
19.
You can join the Marine Corps. Now, whether they want you or not, I do not know.
They don't want me.
But you theoretically go down to Chick-fil-A at the mall, get you a number one, and walk around the corner and join the Navy.
Yeah, they keep coming by too.
Hmm?
They keep coming by asking if we want to join too.
Why do they want to be taking my people away from my number ones and what I need in my life? Okay? All right. Don't be doing that. Get wheeled down from downstairs, go upstairs and tell them to ease up, boy. Now, what y'all want, my pleasure. All right? Let's break down a couple things here. Let's look at our welfare, okay, given a couple things. Our consumer surplus, our producer surplus, and if we're going to have a tax eventually, our tax revenue, and then our total surplus. Okay? And let's look at these things. Let's look at these things without the tax, with the tax, and what changes. Delta, the triangle there, is change. Okay? Someone, pray tell. What? And you could say, you know, this letter, that letter, this letter, or this letter plus that letter plus this letter, however. Let's say without the tax, so there's no tax, what is my consumer surplus? ABC, right? Everything above price and below the demand curve would be areas A plus B plus C. Okay? Producer surplus without the tax. We're going to stay in this column, and these are the rows. You got me? What's my producer surplus? DEF, everything below price and above the supply curve. D plus E plus F. Along the lines of what year was the War of 1812? I ask you, without a tax, what is my tax revenue? Tax revenue without a tax. What is my? Without a tax. How much tax revenue do I have?
0.
Thank you. Could you say it louder?
0.
The Marines would be happy to have you. Without a tax, there is none tax revenue. Without a tax. Without me existing, would I be lecturing right now? I know it's not philosophy, but no. Why am I here? Well, this one evening, my father looked at my mother and said, "How you doing?" Without a tax, there's no tax revenue. The few, the proud, the educated. Okay? What is my total surplus? Remember, I had it up here before. Total surplus is consumer surplus plus producer surplus, is it not? Now you say it. A plus B plus C plus D plus E plus F. Got me? Okay. Y'all feeling better about that now? It ain't complicated. It really is not. You ever reverse engineered your birthday to try to figure out when your parents may have, you know? Apparently I was more of it's kind of a mid-November. I was a mid-November birth. 9 months before that, technically 10, but 9 months before that. Valentine's Day. Ew. Gross. You nasty animal. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
What's August?
Yes. Oh, you were Halloween, baby. Congratulations. Is it weird that he may have been conceived while his parents wore costumes?
I'll let it think about it.
That's why I came over here and said that to you. It's really awkward. Plus, it gives you guys a mental break from what we're trying to do here. But we've got to move on. With a tax. Somebody's being louder than me. I'm not comfortable with that. With a tax. With a tax. Okay? What is my tax wedge? It's right there, right? Does that start to change things? There's a price that buyers pay, there's a price that sellers get, and there's some crap in between, right? What is my consumer surplus with a tax? Recalling, it's everything above price and below the demand curve. Above price and below the demand curve. That was what it was without a tax. Say again. Man, you guys are all kinds of wrong.
See?
Everything above price and below the demand curve. Habla español? Would that be better? Good. Fantauta! No? What is above price and below the demand curve? I don't know. Perhaps maybe the lack of a use of a grid is confusing you. I refuse to believe you've made it this far just by dumb luck. What is my producer surplus after the tax? That's everything below price of the supply curve. But whose price? Suppliers, right? They are sellers. That's the PS. Everything below that and above supply. What is my producer surplus? Yes. I'll get y'all there eventually. All right, let's just start at the top. With a tax, is there tax revenue?
No.
Yes.
That's what I said.
That's why you're not in the Marine Corps, son. Okay? Actually, they probably would have preferred you not to know the answer. That's typically how the Marines work. I'm friends with a gunnery sergeant. Very intense guy. Okay? Everything below the price they get and above the supply line. What is that? F. Okay? Revenue is what? If my child in my neighborhood opens a lemonade stand, how does she make revenue? She sells lemonade, right? She charges a price and disperses a quantity. My revenue is price times quantity. If she sells 10 drinks for $1, that is $10. Is that not the revenue? If the government charges you $1 for 10 units in taxes, that's $10 in revenue. Pray tell. All right. Man, back in the day, you guys are moving so slow, we would have all gotten up and ran around the building together. Seriously. Seriously. Drill sergeant style. All right. Love my macro light and day. And I say macro because I usually got to do some macro. You guys are micro. Expectations a little higher. Okay. What? Someone take a stab at price times quantity here.
We're going to go with B, C, D, D.
B, C, D, and E. You got half of it, but you're also half wrong. Yes, sir. B and D. Mama! All right. Look here. Tax wedge, right? It's also the size of the tax. Okay. The dollar value from here, let's say this is $7 and this is $5. How big is that tax? $2. I got my price. Okay? Let's say this is a quantity of 10. I have my price times quantity. $2 times 10, that's a $20 tax. Tax revenue equals, actually I had ironically right there, all right? Equals size of the tax times quantity tax. Yes, sir. B plus D. All right. Now, is tax revenue part of our surplus? Is it a social good? Is it a total surplus? The temptation is to say no, and I love that about you. I freaking hate taxes, but I also hate the government, which is really fun. Last semester, I taught American government. That was fun. Our political science person quit like right before the semester, and I said, ooh, let me. They learned a very different lesson about the American government. Okay. Righteous class, it was all right. There's a bunch of stuff, it was a little awkward. And I'll talk a lot about women's suffrage. We freed the slaves in the 1860s. Do you realize women couldn't vote for 6 more decades? Dang. This is the point we said, bro, I ain't from here. That's all right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I wouldn't be. That's a shame. They're smarter than us boys, and we kept them voting from 1920s. Come on, man. What's my total surplus? Technically, taxes revenue can be used to make things like school, for someone to pick up the phone when you call 911, for the roads to work. Okay? Technically, they are a part of total surplus. So when we have a tax, total surplus equals consumer surplus plus producer surplus plus tax revenue. We have to assume that that's being used for good, but secretly you and I both know it's being wasted in a lot of ways, correct? Okay. But we do add it for total surplus. So what is my total surplus in this situation? It's right in front of you. Yeah. You could say A plus F plus B plus D. I'm just going to go alphabetical. So I'm going to say A plus B plus D plus F. We good?
Yeah, okay.
Fine. Now, tell me what changed with consumer surplus. This is change, right? And the delta's change. Yeah, do we gain it or do we lose it by going through the tax?
We lost it.
Minus B plus C. Frowny face emoji. You are literally made worse off in your welfare by taxes. I've just proven it in basic economic theory. Look at me. But you already knew it. Taxes suck, right? In fact, I used to train people to say, when I say taxes, you say, thank you. You're the only person who said it. Now I want to say taxes. Taxes. I'm going to open this door. If you embarrass me with the low volume of your voice, I'm going to be very upset because I do this every semester and it's going to reflect poorly on you. Okay? I'm going to say taxes and you're going to say, not like that, you're not.
Sorry.
Well, my door opening skills, I'm not even there yet. Taxes
Sucks.
Before the government man came along, you felt about that good. You got me? Government man comes along, now you feel that good. You better or worse? That's why you hate taxes. Let's play the other game. Producer surplus. What changed?
You lost D.
Lost D and E, right? Lost D plus E. Does that make producers happy or sad? Producers were feeling it. Got me? And they got taxed. How do they feel? Not as good. Taxes! You know what? I'm a man of faith. I'm going to step out on faith. I'm going to open this door one more time. You guys are going to make me proud. Taxes suck! I'm watching that other class. They're learning the exact same thing right now. They're not having as much fun as we are.
That's what we like to do.
Oh, she's good. Don't get me wrong. She's very brilliant. There's a lot of things she can know. There's a lot of things she can do that I can't do. No, seriously. A lot of things. Okay? Plus, I heard her, so don't insult me. Okay? All right? No good, right? Tax revenue. What do we gain? Allegedly used for our own good. Total surplus. Do we get better or worse because of a tax? Worse by what? Little C&E, right? Is society made better or worse off by this tax? Worse off by areas C and E. See what I did? I kind of jumped ahead and I made you. All right, so let me tell you about how I learned to swim. I had a great Aunt Lucille. She was crazy. Into an eye that wandered. All right. I was at my grandparents' Perry, South Carolina, outside Wagner, Sally. They had a swimming pool, and I didn't know how to swim. Okay. Aunt Lucille, there with my mom and my grandparents and everything. Well, jump in the river and swim on here. My Aunt Lucille goes over there. Mind you, I'm about 4 years old. Okay. She says, "There's only one way to teach a boy how to swim. Pick me up by my trunks and threw my tail into the deep end." I sat on the bottom for a few minutes looking up like somebody gonna help me. My mama jumped in. We didn't leave there that day until I knew how to swim like a dolphin. All right? I'm just doing the same thing for you right now when it comes to welfare economics and taxation. This right here. This right here. What time we go to? I'm so confused. 9:25. I can't do the math. 35. We got 15 after, right? Oh man, we got 11 minutes, man. Light calisthenics, boy. You see this at home? All right, you laying out because I'm scared of the COVID. No, you missing out, homie. I just only talk about the feeling that chalk just gave me. Okay. Nope, not happening. Oh, that's much better. Was this gained or lost? What it becomes? Because the quantity goes here. This doesn't exist anymore. It's a figment of our imagination, is it not? That's lost. In fact, it's called dead weight. Loss. Thanks, Uncle Sam. Bless you.
Thank you.
This is dead weight loss. Now, I want you to not draw some things I'm about to draw. In fact, I'm going to give you a couple minutes to finish drawing what I've drawn. That way you can not mess up what I'm about to mess up, because that's a beautiful thing on the graph, but I want to illustrate something. Have you ever caught yourself saying, you know, the government should do this, and it would fix everything? What's the only form of income for a government? Taxes. And taxes? It's getting better. I must admit, it's getting better. All right, eventually, I'll be able to walk in and say, hey, Jarvis, drop my needle. You guys will be like, taxes suck. Okay. Taxes make us, in terms of our well-being, worse off. So when you say things like, you know, the government should do this, the only form of income for the government is taxation. And who do they tax? Yeah, you, okay. So if you're like, the government should forgive all student loan debt. If you take out a loan with somebody, they're gonna forgive it. If the government forgives it for you, they have to pay that person back, correct? Even within its own government agencies. So if the government's paying for your student loans, how do they pay for that? Well, their only form of income is taxes. And who do they tax to pay for it?
Us.
Except for they're gonna tax me too. Why should I pay for your loans? Just saying. My wife just paid off her med school bills. Why should you have to pay off yours too?
How long did that take?
A minute. 250,000, something like that. $250,000.
Wow. Holy shit.
But doctors shouldn't be able to charge what they want. They love, I sit here in Chesney just complain because my name is Carrie.
Yes, Karen. My wife's been busting her butt for decades. You want me to pay for yours? I'm gonna step outside. You know why? It's taxes. Getting there. All right, you ready for me to destroy this? The government should pay for health care. It's the only form of income for a government. So what we're doing right now is not enough. We need to do more. What's about to happen to this tax wedge? Is it going to get smaller or is it going to get bigger? Hello? If this is tax number one, we need tax number two. What's that? All dead weight now, right? Well, how do you really feel about that in the long run?
It's okay, I drive a Subaru and eat granola. That's your new freaking consumer surplus. This ain't Republican, this ain't Democrat, this is basic economics. We should put it on the companies, they'll do it. They won't move to China because now in the US, there's their new producer surplus. You did get more tax revenue, but at what cost? If this is a frowny face, I'm gonna see if I can draw an angry face.
No. You get the way
Let's say he's smirking.
Yeah.
He's smirking because he's just become an anarchist. And when you become an anarchist, you overthrow the government. When you overthrow the government, you create a new country. Check out history. It happens all the time, the more you know. Just so you know, everybody's like, oh, you sound like a conservative Republican. I'm a libertarian with anarchist tendencies. The post office cannot deliver a package. And you want them to deliver health care? Well, that's different. There's going to be doctors. Yeah, people with $250,000 in debt that can't pay it off because they have the salary of a post office employee. Yeah, on that in a little bit. It feels good. We're not doing the Save 5 thing or whatever. You can borrow your hat for a second. I'm sorry. Maybe right. Where's it made? China!
He doesn't know that.
He doesn't care.
Exactly.
I don't care. I didn't have time to put on my tie this morning. I can't tell you where it's from. I just like it. Copenhagen. That's pretty unique. Denmark, right? Look at me. Could have been from Cleveland for all I knew. Okay? Actually went to his store while he was president in Trump Tower. Took a group of entrepreneurs up there back when we could do stuff. And we went in there, and I went in there for one reason. Whole wall of those hats. Not the camo. I kind of like the camo. The red. They finally had to ask me to leave because I kept pulling them off the wall trying to find one made in America. I vote for people y'all never heard of because they understand economics. It's not the state. It's not the left versus the right. It's the state versus you. This is common sense, is it not? Hello? This needs to be? Yeah. You see this little piece of real estate smaller than Rhode Island? That's your new happiness. That's Google's. What do you start to see here? Less revenue. Trying to tax yourself into prosperity is like a snake trying to eat itself. This tastes good. Ooh, that hurts. Be careful. Yes, sir.
Never mind.
You good?
I'm good.
Did I address it somehow?
No.
No.
It was an off-topic question.
Oh, I'm off topic, don't worry about it.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, the people you vote for, will they ever win?
Probably not,
Why
because
won't
they're
they
too
ever win?
smart and they're not slick enough. But I could maybe dedicate my career, let's say 30 years, to turn you guys into a politician's worst nightmare. And that's an educated voter. If after 30 years, I don't have a small army, then I haven't done my job.
What do you think it will become, like a third party? I guess you could say.
I don't know. Look at history, it's happened. I mean, somebody won the presidency running as a bull moose party. Theodore Roosevelt, anybody? Yeah, let's make up our own political party and I'll let you go. Because I've covered everything I need to cover here. Well, let's come up with a cool, what would possibly, out of today's lecture, what would be our political party? Yeah, that's the Texas suck party. Remember everyone, taxes suck. She's upset, said me too loud, do I care? Hey, I'm her boss. He, taxes, taxes, taxes. Hey, one more time, taxes.
I didn't even know we had an exam.
When is it here? Tomorrow?
Wednesday.
Oh, we got time. I'll do it tomorrow at 10.
You email me?
I did not.
Yeah, email me.
I took notes, but not
Oh,
all
that'll
of
work.
them. But there's some of the notes.
Perfect. Send me an email to remind me to I'll give you 100 on a homework that you've attempted.
Okay,
On your lowest.
do you want me to sing a picture of these?
No, I trust you. Just say, hey, I showed you the notes. Because if you count on me to go downstairs and put it in right now, I'll forget. That's just my own.
All they want here is, yes.
You
Hear
can
about the Tigers?
Which one?
They hired, what's his name? CDX Spiller.
Oh, yeah, running back coach. Yeah.
They hired someone else.
I can't remember.
I can't.
I got a question about the business program.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an option to minor in finance?
Yeah, basically, the two majors that have minors or that have finance in them, they're minors. You can be primarily accounting and finance, or you can be primarily economics and finance. And the difference is there. Hey, if you want to be an accountant, go do that. If you want to be a banker or an investment professional, do economics and finance. In fact, in the fall, Tuesday, Thursday, 8 a.m., I'm teaching principles of investing. We're gonna make some money.
There you go. This guy looks like he likes money.
Which one of those categories would you likely fall in, do you know?
Well, my father told me that he was saying that when you get a business degree, it's always good to have finance in there somewhere, because if you deal with money, you can make money.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really want to be like do the management program, but with like a minor in finance.
Well, then you would take a couple extra classes. We'd find some spots. You only have to take 15 hours a semester, so a couple semesters might be taking you 18, and you can do management and entrepreneurship with a minor in finance.
Okay.
It's a little more work on your part, but you don't strike me as the type to be afraid of that.
Not really.
So you'd be able to do business finance, corporate finance, and principles of investing.
Because I have an internship opportunity, or I'm trying to get it